No matter where you are, everyone is always connected.
Back in the 90s, the internet felt like a new world. Nobody really could tell what to do with it,
What does the 4 megabyte memory mean versus
let alone the potential it could have. Some people had good hopes, portraying the future coming for the internet as something like playful and cool, but others were more skeptical.
How the hell do you do this?
Maybe technology is too hard to understand, but we can figure out how humans behave. I think. Serial Experiments Lain is perhaps one of the most prophetic anime about our relationship with the digital world. This original anime has reasons to still be remembered to this present day and present time. IRL. This is a slang that we've been using since internet and social media has become a thing. Today, there's even a whole segment of IRL live stream content, but here's the question. Hasn't the digital world become part of real life too? If part of my social life are digital now, isn't this in real life as well? At the beginning of Serial Experiments Lain, our protagonist, Lain, doesn't seem very familiar with the internet, or as they call in the anime, the wire. Until people at school were starting gossiping about receiving emails from a classmate who was no longer among them by her own will, if you know what I mean. When Lain finally receives the fateful email, she begins to dive deep into the virtual world. Her friend sent an email to Lain saying that she has given up her body, but now she is still alive inside the wire. Now, the anime is gonna talk about existential problems, control-related issues, government, even religions at some point. But this video, I'm gonna focus on the topic of virtual and the physical world kind of merging together. I'm not gonna give too much spoilers about the end, about what's the deal with Lain. So feel free to watch this video if you hadn't saw Lain's anime. But I really recommend you to watch. It's like I don't know, 12 episodes, and it is an original anime, so it's not from a manga or any other source of media, so it's pretty awesome and it's really short. If you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to help me keep making content. For a long time, I've been thinking about this. The digital world is no longer just a world to escape in almost ethereal world. It affects our lives, and at certain points, it is our life. And actually, I'm talking about myself. Most of my social cycle today, even my work, only exists because of my excessive use of internet. I'm unfortunately one of those chronically online people. And because of many of my own limitations, my mental illness, and a lot of bunch of stuff that I need to deal with, if there weren't for this alternative working online, I would definitely be on a more precarious situation. So again, isn't this online world real life too? Well, definitely this internet that we live in now is not the same from when we started using it. The internet was to be more colorful, kind of happier. I don't know. You definitely see many nostalgic posts about that era, early 2000. And to be honest, I also get that feeling. But I understand that we're always gonna remember only the good parts of our past, and it will look like it was perfect. Yeah, I feel like this happened in another century, and to this quote-unquote another century that some people are trying to go back to. Some can even identify this as the analog renaissance. You definitely heard about glorification, about this analog lifestyle, going back to owning things instead of just paying for the digital version of it or the subscription. Actual physical media, dumb phones, reducing screen time, leaving social media. Damn, isn't this all a good thing? Yeah, it is. But not everybody can afford it. I don't mean to not buy analog things. God knows if I was rich, I was gonna have so many things, so many anime stuff. I will have a bunch of manga, a bunch of action figures, a Blu-ray and stuff. God knows that. But that's the point. Things are getting expensive. Not everybody can afford this physical entertainment. You know, this is happening even here on YouTube. You can see a lot of great YouTubers that used to make great videos. They don't even post too much anymore. Sometimes they don't even use social medias anymore. Not everybody can afford being full disconnected. Today, almost every professional needs to become some sort of influencer, as I said, just to keep practicing their craft. As people say, if you're not seen, you're not remembered. Very few people had access to the internet at first, globally speaking, in the early 2000s, especially when we're thinking about third world countries.
Hi, Mike. What's up?
Online entertainment that used to be seen as a valuable now just seems like a cheap entertainment to some people. And of course, being off the internet it's healthy, because let's be honest, everyone agrees that living immersed on this online life too much isn't good to anyone. But the reason to some people not connect too much isn't thinking about healthy relationship with the digital. It's simply because it's not fashion to keep mixing with the others. Because, offline is the new luxury. There's a certain status that comes from ignoring the usual signs of success online, and the name being inspired by those who can grow a career without pressuring of performing on social media. At a certain point in Serial Experiments Lain, her father, who, if I remember correctly, is also some sort of tech professional, he enters Lain's room and says she's obsessed with talking to people through the wired, and he warns her. It's just an advanced medium for communication. Don't ever get it confused with the real world. Do you understand what I'm warning you? To which Lane's responds, the border between the two isn't so clear, and I will be able to enter soon in a full range and full motion. I'll be completely metamorphosed. So yeah, this is literally a topic that the anime wants to discuss. At first glance, Lain can be extremely confusing, and I'm talking here both about the character Lain and about the show Serial Experiments Lain, and I'm not exaggerating, this is actually the point. The creators wanted Lain to be some sort of transmedia work. Several forms of media played into it, including a PS1 game, and if Lain the anime was already confusing, the game will only extend that. As far as I know, the scenario of the game was written first, then they worked side by side on the anime and the game production. There's also a doujin manga made by the very character designer of the anime. It's pretty short. It's like a one-shot, definitely worth the read. I'm not gonna talk about any spoilers about that here. The game has an online version, unofficial of course, but it lets you see a little bit about what the game is, and basically it's like we're accessing the Wired, and inside that we can see some fragment of events involving Wired and Lain herself. It's super messy, but it's meant to be like this. I spent a lot of hours on this. It's like an experience of playing a visual novel for me. I like playing visual novels actually, but more in a trippy way. So yeah, what starts to happening is exactly what she mentioned to her father. The thin difference between the two worlds is collapsing. I find it pretty interesting that she says she's going through a metamorphosis. I think we need to address the elephant in the room and talking about ChatGPT and other AI chatbots, because this is really affecting our life now. I'm not even talking about AI generation and image. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about the chatbots and how it's affecting vulnerable people that struggle with mental illness, people that are too much isolated, and they find this chatbot that answer looking like a person, and they start to develop feelings for it.
I'll always remember you, Fry. Memory deleted.
It's exposing people that are already vulnerable to a thing that we don't know yet. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, but the AI chatbots were obsessed by goblins. So what the I mean, what the hell is going on? We don't know yet how to deal with it. We barely know how to deal with social media yet. Anything that can be done to a rat can also be done to a human. And we can do almost anything to rats. It's hard to think that way, but it's also truth. And they won't disappear if we cover our eyes. This is Cyberpunk. Serial Experiments Lain is a cyberpunk anime, alongside Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and others. The focus of the subgenre cyberpunk would be high-tech, low-life. Funny that one of the great inspirations for cyberpunk settings were actually the Japan aesthetic, because like for a so-called artificial landscapes, city lights at night. And that is actually a scenario on one of the most important for the cyberpunk genre, the book Neuromancer. I still haven't read that one yet, but it tells a story about Case, a cyberspace cowboy that is also a hacker and lives in Tokyo. It's no wonder that we have so many extraordinary works about this theme in anime. And yeah, you know that song that went viral some years ago, Virtual Insanity? Yeah, the singer JK of the band Jamiroquai was inspired by Japan. And this is a song that people used to say that is kind of prophetic too. But why it's so easy to imagine dystopian futures? Well, I think the song already says, quote, "Futures made of virtual insanity now always seem to be governed by this love we have for useless, twisting, other new technology. Oh, now there is no sound, for we all live underground." I'm trying to not cringe myself reading this without just trying to sing, but I'm not gonna put myself into singing here. It would be worse. Trust me. I wish I could actually use that song on YouTube, but yeah, I don't want this video to be taken down. But someone who wasn't afraid at all to post this song was this creator. I don't even know if they're the real author of this fan animation or just someone that reposted, but yeah, here we have on June 28th, 2013, a rotoscopy animation of Weather Report in the place of the vocalist. Fun fact, Weather Report is actually inspired by the Buffalo Man, the mascot of Jamiroquai, and the city that the vocalist visited in Japan that got him into being inspired to do the song was no other city than Sendai, Hirohiko Araki's hometown. Yeah, that's a really cool, great fact to learn about this. And shout out to Forts. I actually saw this fun fact on his channel, and this is so ironic. There's no good or evil in the end. There's, you're not good for being disconnected, and you're not evil for being too much connected. At the end of the day, we need to adapt. We need to learn to live on this world. I feel that this world it's evolving too fast for our monkey brains. So yeah, reduce screen time if you can. Touch the freaking grass. Put your glasses on, but don't feel guilty if you can't do this the way that you wanted to do, because some people have more resources. Some people can do this, can go to the movies every week, can travel, can go to amazing places. But yeah, we will make it, and we will always adapt, because no matter where we are, everyone is always connected.